calling this public hearing for the petition to add properties to the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority to order. There is no roll to be called, so we will just gavel ourselves in. All right. I'm going to read, let's see, both, because why not? So, all right, well, good afternoon, everyone. The Council of the City of Cleveland, Ohio, pursuant to Resolution 564, 2025, adopted on April 20th, 2025, the Resolution of Sufficiency, has set the time and place for a hearing on the petition to add additional properties to the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority, a community district established pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 349. The hearing will be held 1 p.m. on May 29th, 2025 at Cleveland City Hall, 601 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, here in the Mercedes Cotner Council Room, Committee Room 2017. The resolution of sufficiency and the petition are on file with the offices of Cleveland City Council located 601 Lakeside Avenue, room 220, Cleveland, Ohio 4414, and are available for inspection by interested persons during regular business hours. That is the purpose of today's meeting. The public hearing for the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority, Lakefront NCA, is hereby called to order as we've done. As required by the Ohio Revised Code, Section 34903, this meeting was publicly noticed in the Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com on May 11th, May 15th, and May 25th, 2025. The purpose of this meeting is to hear about the additional property being added to the existing Lakefront NCA, which was established through Ordinance 1061-2024, passed by Council on March 3rd, 2025. Good afternoon. Ms. Trevisano, please open us up and welcome your guest.
Of course. Thank you for having us, Councilman. Jessica Trevisano, Senior Advisor for Major Projects with the Mayor's Office. I'm joined by Scott Skinner, who's Executive Director of the North Coast Waterfront Development Corporation.
Thank you. Please proceed.
So we will just go through a quick overview of what we're here to talk about today. A new community authority is an economic development tool that is permitted by state law that supports development in a specific area by collecting charges from property owners or lessees within that area. Importantly, property owners and lessees have to opt into being part of the new community authority and to those charges. The charges can include items such as parking fees, food and beverage fees, hotel or motel fees, charges based on income tax or property value. An NCA is geographically defined through a petition process and expanded through a petition process. It assesses charges only if property owners or users opt in, and that uses the funds collected from the charges within the NCA area to support development within that area. The North Coast Waterfront NCA will help support development on the lakefront by providing user-based charges to support capital improvements, placemaking, and programming at the lakefront. On March 3rd of 2025, Council passed legislation creating the initial North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority. Due to state law requirements, certain properties, shown in orange below, had to come in through this additional property process because of the term of their lease. The relevant lessees, which are the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Great Lakes Science Center, authorized the petition to join as part of the new community authority. And what this legislation would do is approve adding that property to the new community authority. This is just an overview of the process of how a new community authority is created. It is created by petition, which, as the councilman said, is on record in the city council office. There's a resolution that gets passed by city council affirming that the petition is sufficient. That has already happened for this piece of legislation and for this petition. Then there's a public hearing. That's what we're doing right now. That's required by state law. And then after the public hearing, there's an ordinance that authorizes the creation or the addition of new property for a new community authority. Once we go through all of those steps, then we're able to operate the authority. The new community authority is regulated by a board, which adopts bylaws, negotiates with property owners or lessees to set their fees, and determines how the charges will be spent. The new community authority board members were set in the initial petition and the initial ordinance that we passed back in March. So there are 4 people appointed by city council to represent the interests of present and future residents and employers of the NCA. There is 1 person appointed by city council as the representative of the local government, and then 4 people appointed by the developer, and in this case, the developer is City of Cleveland, appointed to represent the developer's interests, and all of those board members are listed on the screen. New Community Authority is a quasi-governmental entity, so it is subject to Ohio's open meetings and public records laws. Again, the NCA board is appointed by city council and the developer, in this case, the city, and all charges and fees have to be disclosed to the public. The NCA petition, which is again on file with City Council, sets the type and the maximum charges permitted within an NCA area. And then property owners have to opt into the specific charges that are assessed against their property, and all of those charges are again voluntary. The petition, which was already passed back in March, establishes the maximum charges. That's in the red box on the screen. So that's things like a maximum of 5% on gross receipts, and up to 2% charge on admission and tickets, up to $5 vehicle parking fee. Those are, again, maximum charges. The individual charges will be negotiated with each property owner. And the uses of those charges are for public infrastructure improvements, expenses for NCA management, and then programming, placemaking, public space activation, public art, things that better the entire NCA. And then last, the new community authority timeline. So this is just an overview of sort of where we've been and where we're going. On March 3rd, again, council passed legislation creating the initial North Coast Waterfront NCA. On April 29th, we submitted a petition to add additional property. We're currently doing the public hearing, and we anticipate on June 2nd, council will consider the ordinance adopting the additional property into the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority at Committee of the Whole and at council's meeting. With that, Scott and I are happy to answer any questions. So.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, did we have anyone signed up to speak to the NCA? All right. Thank you so much for this overview. All right, so today we are adding on the additional parcels. That's correct. Right. Mr. Skinner, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
No, I mean, the only thing that I guess I will say is this has been the plan that we've communicated to council from the start, that we would, this very slide was in the initial presentation, that we would be coming back to add in this land, and this is us doing exactly that.
All right. And then, let's see, the appointments, when, what's the term? Is that on there?
The term is going to be set within the bylaws.
Got it.
And so then that will kind of speak to how long the folks will be.
All right. Ms. Martins, any questions or comments on your end? All right. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate it. And with that, we will close this hearing. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you all.